Welcome everyone to our next Power Hour. Today we have Ha Din, who is a senior data analyst at Unbounce, which is a company located in Vancouver, and she will be speaking about survivability today. So before we begin, I'd like to do the classic warm welcome applause. So if everyone could just unmute yourselves and we can welcome Ha to the space. Welcome, welcome. My roommates are always like, what is that clapping? Cool, I'll pass it off to you now, Ha. Thank you.
Thanks, Georgina. That's really nice, actually. I appreciate that clap. Anyway, thank you, everyone. My name is Ha, and I'm a senior data analyst at Unbounce. So I'm going to talk about survivability today. Everyone hear me all right? Thumbs up? Awesome. Okay, so a little bit about me. I graduated from bachelor degree in marketing and business economics at University of Cincinnati in Ohio, the state. And then there I realized my passion, great interest in customer behavior. I want to analyze that data and help companies to make more relevant product and services to their customers. But then I realized I still lack a lot of skill set to analyze humongous of data customer we collect every single day out there. So I decided to pursue a master's degree in data science at UBC in Vancouver here. And then after graduation, I start working. I think it's the right time to give back to the community. So I decided to be the co-organizer of Women in Data Science Vancouver chapter. And we've been organizing annual events since 2018. A little fun fact about me, I have a corgi and she just turned 1. I usually bring her to the office, not now because we are all working from home, but she likes to play with other dogs in the office. We're a dog-friendly office. And as you can see in the left photo here, she played too much. I have to put her behind my back, but she also always tempted to jump down and play again. Yeah, but that's enough about me. Let's talk about my company, Unbounce. We are a software as a service company providing landing page builder to marketers. Ask how many people here know what is a landing page? You can just unmute yourself and say yes or no, or maybe.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so a landing page. Here is how our builder looks like. So basically, let me put into a simple word. Whenever you see an advertisement on Google or Facebook, if you find the information interested enough, you would click onto that ad, and then it would lead you to land on a page with all the relevant information. So that page is called a landing page. So initially, the whole process of creating a landing page includes a marketer, a designer, and website developer, which sounds to me like a very expensive process. It can be lengthy as well because there are a lot of communication going back and forth, right? So with our tool, a landing page builder, a marketer can create a landing page very quickly. Just drag and drop and then hit publish. So that's a landing page builder. We have around 16,000 customers all over the world. And some of them you might already know, New York Times, New Balance, the shoes, or Shopify. We are awarded as one of the Canadian most admired corporate culture in 2019. We also reached gender parity in October 2019. And as women in tech, it really means a lot to me. We also have 16 people in data, and we have data engineers, data scientists, and data analysts. And then we have 3 data dogs, including my dog. Okay, so that's a little bit about my company and what is a landing page builder. I want to give you that context because later on I will walk you through how Unbounce use survival analysis in our company. But before I go into that detail, I want to give you an overview of survival analysis, some applications in real life, and then what are beyond the survival analysis that you can expect. Okay, we're good so far? Okay, so let's take a look at Survival Analysis 101. So the definition out there I can find, it is a method that used to estimate the lifespan of a particular population under the study. So the lifespan here can be, so initially when survival analysis was created, it was created for a medical study to study the survival range of the patients. So the lifespan can be from the time they get hospitalized until the time of death. And then a particular population, it can be patients, it can be customers, anyone you want to study. But I'm a visual learner and I find this definition only cannot go too much into details. So I find it useful if we go together through an example. So I mentioned that it's initially created for death, study about survival and death, but with all the word experience, COVID, all that, I find death is an intimidating thing to talk about right now. So let's talk about when a patient get hospitalized until the moment they get discharged because they become healthy again. We have 5 patients here and our study is within 3 months. So the blue line here is from when they get hospitalized until when they get discharged. Okay, so the first question of interest that survival analysis can help us answer is what proportion of patient will be discharged within 3 months. So what proportion of patient will be discharged within 3 months? You can unmute yourself and give me the answer. Or you can put in a chat box. Anyone? Okay.
3 out of 5.
Yes, 3 out of 5. Exactly, that's 60%, 3 out of 5. Yeah, I didn't get your face because I only, yeah, anyway, congratulations to you. So the second questions we can answer through survival analysis is the opposite of that. What is the proportion of patient will not be discharged within 3 months? So will not be discharged. Anyone?
40%.
Exactly. That is 2 over 5, 40%. Congrats to you. And then the third question, which is a little bit tricky, different from the other two. What is the risk of not being discharged at 1 month among those who have been hospitalized until that point? At 1 month. What is the risk of not being discharged at 1 month?
Would that be alluding to like reinfection rates and potential of longer stays?
So I think that is a very good point, which a lot of analysis and studies out there consider. But in our examples, I think just simple is 0, because at 1 month, no one has been discharged yet. Yeah, but that's a really good point. Okay, so that was our example. And as you can see, there are 3 important components in survival analysis. The first one is event of interest. It can be death, it can be hospital discharge, it can be customer cancellation. And then the time, so the time from when a patient get hospitalized until when they get discharged. And then last but not least, this is what set survival analysis apart from other analysis such as linear regression or logistic regressions. It is censoring. So what is censoring? There are many types of censoring, but the 2 most popular one are right censor and left censor. I also include the link here if you want to read more about it. But let's go into example. Patient C here, we have seen at the end of our study, what we know is that patient C has not been discharged. That's all we know. We don't know when exactly in the future patient C will be discharged. And we call patient C a right censor data point. But how about left sensor? Left sensor is someone in the population of study who has experienced the event of interest in the past, but we don't know exactly when. So for example, we have another patient F, and this patient has been discharged a while before we start our study. This study was bad because we lost the record of when patient F was discharged, so we don't know exactly when. And we call patient F a left sensor data point. Everyone is good with what censoring is? Okay, awesome. Let's move on. So besides the three components, we also have survival function, obviously. It helps us to calculate the probability that the event of interest has not occurred at time t. So that helps us to answer the first two questions in our example before. And then we also have the hazard function, the probability that the subject will experience an event of interest within a small time interval, provided that the individual has been in the study until the beginning of that interval. That is a mouthful. Well, basically it helps us answer the third question. Okay. Everyone's clear? All good? Cool. Let's talk about the real life applications out there. So thanks to Georgina and John, I was invited to a SAM talk in February in this year. Just imagine how February I was in the class and now I'm online. Anyway, so I asked my LinkedIn network to see what are they applying survival analysis in their real work. And then the result come back. The first one is life insurance. So life insurance, well, life insurance company, they really need to know when their clients like expect to pass away so that they can prepare all that money to the beneficiary. And then the second example is mechanical maintenance, especially for factories who spend so much money paying for those expensive machines. They need to know when they should send in a maintenance team. Otherwise, in the end, they have to pay all that money again. And yeah, money is very important right now for company. Need to save that. And then the third example is employee attrition. Well, this is to estimate the loss of employee through a natural process. For example, employee retirements, or like for big tech company, you know, like tech people, they jump from this company to that company to change the experience a lot. So HR team, human resource, they need to know this so that they can proactively retain top talents and then plan out the hiring process. Last but not least, it is the very famous customer retention example. Company needs to know when their customer churn or cancel subscription, no longer pay the company, so that they can proactively engage the customer to use the product and things like that to stay, or to send Ryan Gosling through a Zoom call and say, please stay with us. That's a crazy idea though. Anyway, so everyone's good so far? Do you know any other examples of survival analysis, if any? That you have heard so far? You can comment in the chat log and then we can revisit later. Okay. Cool. So now we talk about customer retention. That's exactly what Unbounce use survival analysis for in our company. And let's go into the case study now. So the goal of our company problem, we want to validate whether a potential metric can be used as a retention metric. And our data science approach that I will walk you through later on is the Kaplan-Meier survival function. But before I go into more details, I want to revisit the context. Why we now have to identify a retention metric, even though Unbounce has been around for more than 10 years. Well, for a while, we already have some retention metrics, but it follows the money. So we call, okay, if customer pay us one time, we call them paid 1x. If they pay us 3 times, it means they retain longer. We call them paid 3x. The problem with those metrics is that it follows money, which is the end result of all the effort that we do to make them stay longer. And that is not really an actionable metric. And hence we decided this is the time for us to find something that is more actionable so we can proactively engage customer in our app and so that they can retain longer with us. So that's a little bit of the context. But the huge problem is that there are so many actions people can do within Unbounce. Let's revisit the customer flow. So a customer can come in within a trial. They have 14-day trial. If they like us in the end, they would pay 1x. If they still pay us 3 times, we call them pay 3x, like I mentioned before. And eventually, if they no longer want to use us, they find other tools, or they cannot find any other use case with Unbounce, they would churn. They no longer pay us, they cancel the subscription. During this timeline, there are so many actions that customer can do. They can log in, they can invite additional users to get a helping hand to design page. They can add a new variant to A/B test. They can connect custom domain. So what is exactly custom domain? Like we provide a domain called unbouncepages.com, which doesn't sound really trustful when you want to run an advertisement campaign with that. So for example, if the customer is Shopify, the custom domain will be shopify.com. Yeah, so connecting a custom domain will help to increase the trust within the audience. And then people can make changes, adding videos, pictures to the page, and then republish the page. So that's still a lot of actions, but we need to start somewhere. And we turn our head to the value proposition that we promise our customers, which is using Unbounce will help you convert more leads. But how can customer convert more leads? We say this on our website. With Unbounce, you can create and optimize your landing page. Well, create here, this word is not really important because you create, but then you still keep it to yourself and you don't publish the page, then you cannot get any leads, right? Cannot get any traffic to your page, things like that. So you need to publish it and you need to optimize, because if you know which is bad, what is good on your page, you would keep the good thing and you would remove the bad thing. That's called optimize. And so the key word here is optimize. So great, we find our metric, but the problem is that we don't have any data point for optimization, because optimization can mean many things. They can add new variant to do A/B tests to see which variant works better for the audience. They can connect custom domain to increase trust. They can add more videos and pictures. Whatever they do, if they want that change to go alive, they need to republish the page. So we found our proxy metric, which is republishing. So yay, we found a metric, right? So what next? Well, the problem is that should we really put all the effort in boosting page republishes when we don't know exactly if it actually leads to longer retention? And that's why we turn our head back to the survival analysis. And here at Unbounce, we use Kaplan-Meier survival analysis to do this. So revisit the question of interest. Do customers retain longer if they republish more? The event of interest here is customer retention. The time we're interested in is week. So we choose this timeline. It's based on previous research at Unbounce, which I will not go into more details here, but you just need to know that we will talk about week in later slides. And then censoring. Right censoring here means customers who still retain at the time of analysis. We don't know when they will stop paying Unbounce. And then left censoring are customers who churn before the start of our study. And to control this, we will take like all new trial data since 2018. Everyone needs to go through the trial. Okay, everyone's good so far? Awesome. The one thing I forgot to talk about, what set survival analysis apart, is that in the analysis, it deals with right censoring. It doesn't deal with left censoring, but in the analysis, for anyone that has right censor or right censor data, it will be marked as censor. And that's how survival analysis can analyze customers who like didn't really experience the event of interest at the time of study. So that's very cool. So when I plot out the number of survival weeks to the number of republishing weeks, we have a problem here. It's very positive correlated. It's because the people who stay longer with us, obviously they have more chance of opportunities to republish more. And so we need to normalize this metric. And I choose to normalize by proportion of actions. So for example, if a customer stay with us for 8 weeks and they republish for 4 weeks, then it's 0.5. It's the same with customer who stay with us 2 weeks and republish 1 week. So yeah, normalization is done. And then we did Kaplan-Meier survival analysis. So the question of interest, let's revisit this. Do customers retain longer if they republish more? So the very first analysis we did is to compare customers who never republish at all versus customers who republish at least once. And this suggests that people who republish at least once, they tend to survive longer. So we know, oh, this is a good metric to start. And then, but there's something more to the frequency that we haven't checked. And so we turn our head into, okay, compare customer who republish above the median or below the median. The median here is 0.33. You can interpret it as customer who republish at least one third of the weeks at Unbounce. So median, we can see that the cohort of people who republish more than the median tend to survive longer compared to those who republish below the median. The baseline here are basically the mix of those who republish above and below the median. It's just there to compare more clearly. But anyhow, we get the gist that frequency matters here. And with this, we do further analysis using quantile and then more analysis. A lot of analysis has been done, but in the end, we have the conclusion that weekly republishes does correlate to retention. Okay, everything's good. But that's not just that, because if it's just survival analysis, we see the correlation. We don't see anything else. And my business stakeholders or coworkers, they ask me, okay, who are the people who tend to republish more than others? And that's why we need to do some analysis on customer profile. So I visualize one customer here and the flow of their actions. The triangle point you can see are republish. The circle here are logins. And then we have blue line is trial start. Red line is subscription ends. So when they no longer pay us anymore. It's kind of purposeless because they ends their subscription and then they pay us again. Like they start a new subscription. So anyhow, this, you can see that this customer, they republish a lot, like a lot compared to normal. It is, it turned out this customer is in the highest plan. They are in enterprise plan. They have more than 500 domains. They have more than 800 published pages and then more than 100 members under their account. which just makes more sense. They will make them more likely to log in and republish more. So that gives my stakeholders some like qualitative feedback on who are those customers. But then it's just correlation, right? Survival analysis is just correlation. We don't know if we make customers republish more, does it actually cause longer retention? And that's why we need to do experiments, split testing, to really control that factors, to have a control experiment to really tell, does it have causation effect? And then it doesn't stop there, because data team, we're not the one who execute the strategy, who we don't talk to customer directly. It's the marketing team, the sales team. And so we need to pipe this data into the tools that other teams use so that they can like leverage the data and make more informed decision and talk to customer. And so the tools that my marketing and sales team are using are Salesforce and Intercom. We need to do some data pipelining, talk to the API of these tools, and to pipe the data from our warehouse to these tools. So some data warehousing has been done. And last but not least, I want to send you with this note that data is just a part of the business. We have to communicate a lot with the business to understand what are the roadmaps, what are the products that they want to build, what do they need from us to make more informed decision and move the business up, grow us up. So communication is so important, being a data scientist and data analyst. So expect that, like when being in school, learn how to communicate data science terms in layman terms, like in business terms, something that's easy to understand, and learn to listen and get the idea of what they need rather than just go into doing analysis blindly. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.